Hey guys, welcome to another one of Mars Tips. I was talking to some friends of mine and I started talking about, they were asking me my favorite food. And I said my favorite food was pizza. And I'm from Chicago and I love Chicago style pizza. There are two really good deep dish pizzas from Chicago that I really like, Giordano's Pizza and Uno's Pizza. I think they sell both of those in some grocery stores. So, you know, I decided to think about a way that I could do it that I could make. So I've made a pizza before that people thought was Giordano's because I used a similar recipe, or at least put together the ingredients similar to the way Giordano's does it. So anyway, I decided to do an experiment, and I made an easy deep dish pizza with some elements that I'm going to show you. So this is an experiment, and I'll talk more about the experiment. Well, actually, what I'll tell you is, well, no, I'll talk more about it when I'm done. When I'm done showing you everything I did. But yeah, so this was an experiment and an easy, fast, and easy deep dish pizza, similar to Giordano's in Chicago. So without further ado, we'll take a look at what I did. All right. First of all, let's start with the ingredients. So you could use any kind of meat that you want. In this case, I am using a pound. Well, I'm showing you what I'm going to do with a pound of this grass-fed ground beef. And I got this one decently lean. It still is going to, end up excreting some oil out of here, but it's not too bad. So this is some grass-fed beef. I actually got this at Walmart. So yeah, I'm just showing you how what I used this particular time. And remember, this is an experiment. Okay, now this is spices that I used to turn the ground beef into Italian sausage, to like a ground beef Italian sausage. So I will put the link to the recipe for these spices in the description. But this is the spices that I use to turn regular ground beef into Italian beef Italian sausage. And I used about an eighth of what the recipe makes. So I made up the recipe. I added all the spices together that the recipe calls for, and I used about an eighth because I'm going to use a quarter of a pound in my recipe, and the recipe calls for 2 pounds of meat. So I'm going to use an eighth of the recipe, which looks like it's about a teaspoon or so of spices, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon. Okay, so I just got a pack of pie crust from the freezer section at Walmart. They didn't have any Walmart brand, which is what I normally actually get. So I ended up getting this Marie Callender's, and this was actually yummy. And so notice that this is a deep dish pastry pie shell. So it's better to get the deep dish kind. That way you can put more toppings on the inside. So any deep dish pastry pie shell would be fine for this recipe. I'm not necessarily partial to Marie calendars. Like I said, I just got it because the Walmart brand wasn't there. So I normally get the Walmart brand. Okay, so here is some cheese I bought. I like that it's fine, that it's finely shredded. And I do like the Mexican cheese. Normally I like the Mexican cheese when I make up cheesy dishes, that I need cheese for. In this particular recipe, I actually think it turned out to be too salty. So next time I will get the mozzarella, because mozzarella is normally what you use in a pizza, and I thought I was gonna be fancier and get this Mexican cheese, but it actually I believe made the recipe too salty, so I think I'll try it again. Almost exactly the same, but use a mozzarella. So stay tuned for another video with me using a mozzarella, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so this is something that I made up. I made up some sauce, and then I portioned it out, and then I froze it. So I froze it in these like 1 pound portions, or 16-ounce portions rather, and that's a 16-ounce container like you get from the deli or something like that. So what this is Prego traditional, because I had some leftover Prego traditional sauce. So it's Prego traditional sauce, mushrooms, zucchini, spinach, roasted red peppers, and they were actually from a jar. They were like roasted red pepper strips, like fire roasted. Some celery, and I had some white truffle oil. White truffle oil is delicious. You only need a tiny bit to really add that flavor into your dish, and it's delicious. So anyway, actually I don't think I can taste it in this particular dish. And I'll show you what I did and tell you how I would change it in the future. So I'm looking forward to making it again and changing some things up. So anyway, I think I have another batch of this. If I don't, I have another batch. I have a batch of like spaghetti sauce that I'll use instead. But this is just some sauce that I mixed up. Oh, and also this has golden Italian dressing in it. So I had a bunch of golden Italian dressing that I wanted to use up, and so I was mixing it into the pasta sauce to make it stretch, and also to use up the Italian dressing. I don't really use a lot of dressing on my salad, so I figured I would use it in some cooked dishes. So that is one way I was using up the golden Italian dressing. It's actually from Sam's Club, I think. Okay, so here I'm showing you what I'm doing with the meat. So this was a pound of meat, and I cut it into fourths so I can have use a 1/4 pound. I wasn't sure if I was going to use a 1/4 pound or a 1/2 pound in my recipe, but I ended up using a 1/4 pound. So here is the 1/4 pound of meat that I'm using, and I just kind of smashed it up. Now I added those Italian sausage seasonings to make that an Italian, a beef Italian sausage. Here I'm mixing it together. So I'm mixing it all together. And now I'm frying it up. So this is just a 1/4 pound with those seasonings. I'm frying it. So you could just fry it a little bit and let it, not make it well done. You could do like a medium well, or even fry it lighter if you want, because having it in the oven will cook the meat also. But in this case, normally the meat is on top in a pizza, but since this meat is on the inside, it is better to cook it a little bit so that it could be cooked through by the time the pizza is done. And here is an example of it being cooked more well done. Now I just sat it aside because I actually fried up all 4 of those pieces of the pound of ground beef that I had. I made another one like Italian sausage, and then I made another one like a seasoned ground meat, not with Italian sausage seasonings, but just with some Italian seasonings. And then I made another one with I made a burger out of the other 1/4 pound. So I separated all those out so that they'll be ready for the future for another dish that I want to make. So here I am unfreezing or melting my frozen sauce. So I'm melting the frozen sauce. You can actually probably do both this and the ground meat at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt this so that it's in a sauce form so I could use it on the pizza. And here is one of the pie shells that I'm using. So then you want to put a healthy layer of cheese on the bottom. Not just a light sprinkle, but a healthy amount of cheese to your taste. So actually I recommend a lot of cheese because the Giordano's pizzas are like mostly cheese, like a lot of cheese. A lot of cheese. They do put the toppings. You would layer toppings on top of this. But in my case, I ended up putting sauce on the inside too. I wouldn't recommend that. I actually, that is what I did, but in the future, I would not do it that way. So I'll just show you step by step what I did. So here I'm using that 4 cheese Mexican blend. But I would, next time I make this recipe, I'll show it another time. I'm going to use mozzarella. So on top of the healthy layer of cheese, I put in all my Italian sausage, my beef Italian sausage that I made. So that is the 1/4 pound, the whole 1/4 pound. It does fill up it fills up the whole, pretty much the whole bottom of the pie crust. So that turned out pretty well. Here's my sauce finally heating up to the point where it's in liquid form again. And so then I put a layer of the sauce on top of my cheese, on top of my, on top of the beef Italian sausage, which, like I said, in hindsight, I would not do this. So the reason why I did this is because I was trying to mimic like toppings, but I don't think I would do that in the future. I think if I didn't have raw unseasoned toppings, I would just do the meat and then another layer of cheese. And then if I was going to have a chunky sauce like this, I would just put that on top. So I'll show you what I did with this experiment. Actually, I missed taking a picture of the next step. So after I did the layer of cheese, like you saw before, I did the layer of the cheese. Then I did the meat. Then you would put whatever toppings, but in this case, I did the sauce, which I wouldn't do that in the future. So then I put another healthy layer of cheese, and you can see the cheese kind of sticking out on the end on the left-hand side. Almost fill it up to the top with cheese. And then I put another layer of the sauce on top. So that's what I did. In hindsight, I would do a large layer of cheese mozzarella. I would do the meat. I would do whatever unseasoned toppings. And then I would do another hefty layer of cheese. And then I would put the sauce on the top. And now and I already had, I should have said this before, preheat the oven while you're doing all this other stuff. While you're browning the ground beef or whatever meat, while you're cooking the meat, while you are, putting your piece parts together, arranging your parts together in the pizza, be heating up the oven to 425. Okay, so it's a good idea to put the pizza on a pan, like on a baking sheet. If you have it without sides, that's probably better than one that has sides, like a cake pan. So like a cookie sheet will be better than a cake pan. But it's to catch any drippings. In this case, it wasn't really enough. It wasn't high enough up in the pie. It wasn't high enough in the pie crust to really boil over, but you want to just in case, put it on a pan. And also this was in a foil. It came in a foil pie plate, so it's not very sturdy. So you want to make sure you have it in something sturdy also. Okay, so I kept checking on this and I baked it until the crust was the right color that I wanted it to be. So a little past golden, a little darker than a light golden, because I wanted to make sure everything was melted and everything inside. So if you cook the meat all the way through, the only thing you're really doing is baking the crust, making sure the crust is cooked, and melting, the cheese and everything inside. So I did not watch the time. So maybe next time I'll do like a stopwatch and I'll watch the time. But I just baked it until the crust was golden. Like a dark golden. It looks a little lighter in this picture, but it's a little darker golden. And yeah, that's how I gauged how long, because I just wanted the crust to be cooked. Hey, so in summary, what I have to say about my quick and easy deep dish pizza creation is that in hindsight, I would have used mozzarella cheese. I would not have put another layer of seasoned sauce or veggies or anything on the inside. It was too much. It was too salty for me, for my taste. So in hindsight, I would have put a healthy layer of cheese, my seasoned Italian beef sausage, whatever unseasoned vegetables, like whatever I want in my pizza, spinach, mushrooms, like raw mushrooms, raw spinach, or like fresh raw spinach, or frozen. I could probably get away with frozen spinach in there, like a little bit. It might make it too wet. I might have to cook it a little bit to dry it out. The frozen spinach might make it too wet, but you know what? I might want to do another experiment to see. And then, anyway, that's what I like in my pizza. I like spinach, mushrooms, and Italian sausage. So I would do that, and then put another healthy layer of cheese, like pretty much all the way to the top, and then put the layer of sauce, like a thinner layer of sauce on the top. In this case, I had a heavy vegetable, chunky, super chunky sauce, like vegetables with a little bit of sauce. So I think in hindsight, I would, and actually marinara sauce is the best. That would make it taste more like a Giordano's pizza. The crust also is a more, a different tasting kind of crust. So it reminded me a little bit of quiche. So I may want to choose a different type of crust also, but this is nice for like a fast deep dish pizza. And so this will serve actually two to 4 people. So I was able to cut it into 8 slices, and 8 like pie slices. So if everybody got 2, it will serve 4, and if everybody got 4, it will serve 2 people. So depending on how hungry you are, it is a good amount of food. So anyway, that is a fast and easy Chicago style deep dish pizza that doesn't take long to make, especially if you have some things pre-cooked. But if you just do like sauce in a jar, like some marinara sauce, you can put that on top. So stay tuned for my next experiment that I'm going to do with the actual mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to do it a little differently. I'll probably make 2 more videos like this, so then we could see what actually tasted pretty good. But I did finish up. I did have it for breakfast and lunch. And so I made it a couple of days ago, and it's already all gone. So it was delicious, even though it was a little, I would have liked it more cheesy and less saucy. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna do this again, and you get to check out this experiment. Why don't you send me some comments and let me know if you tried this and what you used and how it worked out for you, like how you liked it. Okay. All right. So enjoy, and tune in to another Mars Tips. Like and subscribe to get more tips from me.